This is primed for ball python sellers and reptile sellers, right? Like this is the audience that we want to reach. Why don't you carve out a portion of your time and a portion of your business and dedicate it to reaching this new audience? Hi, everybody. My name's Adam. I am the breeder and founder behind Proper Royals. If you've never checked out my channel before, I'm a ball python breeder, and I talk about not only the ball pythons, the animals, and the breeding, but also the business side of what I do. And I try and operate with just real transparency so that you get an honest insight into my world and my experiences. I'm not saying everything that I do is the right way to do it, but it's the most honest presentation I can give you. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope that you hang out. Today, I want to talk about what I think is an opportunity for almost a necessary mindset shift in how we sell reptiles and how we reach new audiences, and the opportunity to get ahead of the curve in a platform and a selling space that's available right now. That opportunity to me is PalmStreet. It is a shift in how we could sell. It's a shift in how we can reach customers. We hear all the time that we need to reach new customers, that we need to build our community. PalmStreet offers us the best opportunity to do that right now and to get ahead of the curve. So establish yourself now as an experienced, legitimate, authentic, reliable seller on PalmStreet. Here's the crux of my pitch. The ball python specifically market, but reptiles in general, but really the ball python market is this closed loop. We feel like we're selling to the same local buyers and breeders, which are good, and they're the backbone of what we do. I understand that. But again, there's only a finite amount of them. On reptile classified ad sites, which are great and that they absolutely have a place in the marketplace. Again, there's kind of a closed loop of who is there. A new buyer going to an internet classified site with really kind of limited interaction other than messaging, it's probably not the best first experience for a new buyer. There's a great place for those. I use those sites all the time. There is a place for them. I'm talking about reaching new audiences and being at the forefront of these new audiences. Breeders selling to breeders, you have to either be producing something that nobody else is, which we all like to think that we're on the cusp of doing that, but the vast majority of what we produce is not that. So I get that that's part of our goal, but the reality is that we probably aren't actually doing that. So then we have to buy new stuff to then make stuff to sell to other breeders. That is a bit of a slippery slope that falls apart, especially if there's not new people coming into that space of breeders. Again, to my point, where we need to reach new audiences. And we've all heard this, and I realize that this is a really big number and a really big pitch, but there's millions, tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions of people right here in America that have no idea that ball pythons can be great pets or that reptiles should be considered as great pets. And that's a massive opportunity. I am not saying that there's hundreds of millions of opportunity, but I am saying that there's a wider scope of opportunity in a place like a PalmStreet. Let's dive into that. Let me throw some stats at you. The number of PalmStreet downloads is legitimately in the millions of downloads. The current unique monthly users on PalmStreet is above 200,000 monthly unique users. Imagine that if you were not at a reptile show or a reptile classifieds ads, now the people that you're in front of might be far less familiar with reptiles as a potential collector's item, pet, new animal, new breeding hobby. They might be not familiar with that. They're also not familiar with all the different morphs. They're not familiar with the ups and downs that the ball python market has encountered. They're certainly not familiar with some of our industry drama, which I'm happy for people not to be familiar with. What they are going to be intrigued by is that initial magic that got us all hooked. Remember the first time that you saw a piebald ball python, or the first time that you saw a lavender ball python with like purple hues and glowing garnet eyes, or something like even crazier like a dreamsicle, when you put those two together, and it made us start asking the questions, what is that? Is that even real? How does that happen? How does that arrive? And then the conversation started. Well, these are beautiful animals. They're incredible. They are attainable to new pet owners, and there's opportunity for success in owning them. Not to mention, you could own lots of them and start working towards some of these amazing projects. And that is really the allure of these animals. It's the living art. It's the magic of that living art. PalmStreet has this amazing, massive audience of people who are into collecting unique things. So whether it be plants, whether it be Labubu dolls, whether it be crystals, trading cards, fashion, artisanal craft creations, these are buyers that are intrigued by these unique offerings, and they are on PalmStreet because they have a buyer's mindset for these unique niches. This is primed for ball python sellers and reptile sellers, right? Like, this is the audience that we want to reach. There's 200,000 active of them. Now, again, they're not going to know or understand what a stranger het clown 50% het DG is. But the magic of PalmStreet is that, unlike a reptile classified ad, or even at an expo, sometimes this can be challenging, PalmStreet is a live selling interactive application. You're going to be able to interact with people in real time, a massive audience in real time, an audience where when you give an answer of what kind of setup do I need, the whole audience hears you, versus at a reptile show where you might only be having a conversation one-on-one with somebody. The cool thing of the live selling platform is that you can reach these new buyers and engage with them with their new buyer questions, which get very, very tedious in any other platform, including live reptile expos. I think that PalmStreet really provides that great opportunity. It's a really, really good value proposition pitch to say, why don't you carve out a portion of your time and a portion of your business and dedicate it to reaching this new audience? Here's the fun part. This isn't just me like making a pitch. There's proof to this concept already. We're seeing very successful breeders doing very, very successful things on PalmStreet. Look at Altitude Exotics, Brian from Altitude Exotics. We see Rice Family Reptiles. We see Jersey Guys Balls. These breeders are established breeders. These are full-time businesses that are making use of PalmStreet and finding value in it. They wouldn't go to PalmStreet if they didn't find value in it. We already have attracted and proven some of the celebrity factor as well. We see Snake Discovery selling and auctioning and adopting snakes on PalmStreet. We see Brian Cusco selling snakes on PalmStreet. If you like auctions, use PalmStreet. If you like full retail and populate your store, which is my preference, I actually prefer a full retail experience where I build a community setting where people can come hang out and people can peruse the store and I can show off animals in the store. But you have both options on that, and you can do both with the same animal in the same listing. You can have it in the store and decide to auction it in real time if you find that there's interest from multiple buyers. All of those things, they are proven concepts that other breeders are already using very, very successfully. These are very, very well-established brands that we look up to as fellow reptile breeders. These are our colleagues doing this successfully. But this is still very early, and I think that there's a massive opportunity that comes with being an early adopter. More and more people are going to crack this code, and more buyers will follow as more and more breeders crack this code. So there's not only the new unique 200,000 users that are there that maybe don't know about ball pythons and reptiles, but as more and more established breeders crack this code and make PalmStreet a portion of their business model, more and more established buyers are going to come as well. And that is a sweet mix when you have new faces and established buyers that already understand what we are pitching. The reptile industry doesn't need a new morph, which is great. We all love discovering new morphs if we get the opportunity to, and new combos and all of that. However, without a new, bigger audience, those advances really aren't nearly as important. Frankly, they're just more supply in an already saturated market. So we need a bigger buying base. We need a bigger community. We need a bigger audience. Think of all those homes that don't have reptiles as pets. Think of all those buyers on PalmStreet that are like, I'm going to pop in and see what these reptile people are up to. They're already in PalmStreet. They're already in that buyer mindset. PalmStreet has an opportunity to be the bridge between our niche and one step closer to the mainstream. Now's the time to adopt PalmStreet and start learning what it takes to sell on PalmStreet. Start understanding this market space. Start understanding how to succeed and grow your business in the PalmStreet space. Go to palmstreet.app, download the app, apply to start selling, and start building your business today.